Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Welcome once again to the Good Ship Fun. Anyway, this is GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim Gainer. Thank you so much for joining me to what is possibly going to be the most boring hour of your life that you'll never be able to get back again. I'm just calling it the way I'm seeing it. Before we do anything, before we go anywhere, I'm figuring what the heck. Might as well give you a fair warning right off the bat. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. This is what we do every Friday night. We hang around for an hour and we waste bandwidth. And the way that we do that is we talk about current stories of the day. Just kind of hang out and talk to each other while the cool little chat right here. If you're watching live, yeah, you can stretch your neck over there. That's fine. But if you don't, well, you know, hey, at the same time, too, you could just read right here. Right here. If you're watching the replay, yeah, we don't let you miss out on stuff. No, we're very hands-on around here. So, yeah. Definitely give us a join. In fact, you see right now, there's a couple of people popped in to say hi. Lost Pages. Yee-haw! Back at it again. Lost Pages, knowing you, that is probably one of the most ominous, cryptic, and really scary statements I could ever hear. Also, Elena is here, which means that the Danimal, yeah, he's here as well. My eldest son is seeing Martin Barr this evening. If his wife isn't giving birth, wait a minute. Martin Barr's wife's giving birth? Really? No, I know. You're talking about your son. I know. I get it. I understand. And it's kind of ironic that you say that, too, because he said, knocking his glasses all over the place. It's kind of funny that you should mention that because my number 2 son, Eric, called me right before we started production we just wrapped up pre-production and we're getting ready to kind of, chill out. And he gave me a call and he's like, "Did you ever see Pink Floyd?" Yes, I did. "Which tour?" It was the Animals tour, which I did. I got to see them in 1977 at Soldier Field, the year that the 750-foot gigantic inflatable pig soared over everyone's heads at Soldier Field. Really, to be honest with you, there's only a few things about that night that I remember, except for the fact that, that was a really big pig, or, the shrooms were really good, if you know what I'm talking about. And also, that was the night. Well, anyway, the reason that he said that was because he is going to see a very, very well-known Floyd tribute band, Brit Floyd, probably one of the best Pink Floyd tribute bands in the world. He's going to see them tonight at Red Rocks, and anybody who's familiar with the Red Rocks Theater knows just how cool that's going to be. So yeah, I'm really jealous that Eric's going to see them tonight. So, your eldest is going to see Martin Barr, and my number 2 is going to see Brit Floyd. So that's kind of cool. Martin Barr, man, that would be a lot of fun to see. It's really kind of a shame that he's not. Is he still playing with Tull? Is he still playing with Jethro Tull? I wish he was. I hope he is anyway. Because as I understand it, I think Tull's supposed to be. If they haven't wrapped up their tour, they're supposed to be going on tour sometime this year to promote the Zealot game. So we'll see about that. And Lost Pages is doing his Michael Jackson imitation now. Hee hee. So, yeah. So, as you can tell, if you are new to this, this is what we do. You talk to us in the chat right there, or right there. Or, of course, some people like to go both ways. You can talk to us in the chat, and we will answer you. If you're watching the replay of this, go ahead and comment down below. We will get back to you eventually. Might be in some other piece of the space-time continuum, but I promise you we will do that. And we'll talk about all the things that we want to talk about. As a matter of fact, we kind of need to get into stuff right away because, well, what can I tell you? It was a, it was a busy week. It was a busy week, so let's not waste any time. Pull out your dance cards now. It's time for the Deadpool, y'all. Let's get into it. Come on. Elena's saying, with reference to Martin Barr, I don't know, apparently he's playing Ravinia and a couple of other venues locally this summer, which is cool. Hey, listen, bro's got to make a living. I get it. I got no problem with that at all. Anyway, it was a busy week, Deathpool enthusiasts. So there's a lot to report on. So pull out your Deathpool cards because I almost guarantee you ain't none of these on your card this week. Starting off with a young lady who left us on Monday, who, if you don't know her name, you definitely are aware of her sound and her look.
Tall and thin and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, each one she passes goes
Astrid Gilberto, the Brazilian crooner who sang that hit, Girl from Ipanema, in 1963, left us at the age of 83 on Monday. Her friend, musician Paul Ricci, posted the news on Facebook, did not reveal the cause of death. She never performed in public when she recorded that song with her husband and the great Stan Getz in 63. She was only 22 at the time. But she definitely, the song became an overnight sensation, and she actually is kind of, people say that she's responsible for bringing the sound of the bossa nova to critical success. She sang on another album for Stan Getz, Getz a Go-Go. Back in 1964, she appeared at the Newport Jazz Festival. She released a solo album of her own in 1965, and she released another album in 66, The Shadow of Your Smile. And she kind of went away after that. But for most of her career, according to Rolling Stone, she felt people behind the scenes in the music industry were taking advantage of her talent. She said, she told the Times in 1981, quote, "There was a problem collecting what was mine. Money, credit. Without realizing it, I was doing a great deal of producing on my own albums, and I got no credit. I was young, inexperienced, and in a foreign country. I lacked guidance." No, Astrid, that's just the conspiracy. That's a recording conspiracy in general. Her son, Marcello, once said that he told the Independent that, okay, as many millions of copies, okay, and this is the second most copied song, the second most covered song behind Paul McCartney's Something, okay, and she only made $120 from it, according to her son Marcello. I don't know how true that is, but I do also know that she received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Latin Grammys in 2008. So yeah, kind of a sad thing. Astrid Gilberto, the Queen Mother of the Bossa Nova, gone at the age of 83. So there was that. Occasional guest co-host Chris King has popped in, and he has come to the fore by saying, you know that their version was not in the original key, right? I believe they did slow that down. I want to say that they did. She's singing that in D flat. The original was recorded in G, and most American singers sing it in F. Artistic license, man. You know? What's the big deal? It doesn't matter. Not slowed down, just in a different key. Well, that's cool. It made her sound more sultry, more Brazilian. NU City Games popping in saying, side notes, look up Suzette Bossart Ensemble. They do bossa nova covers of popular music. Oh, yes. As I said last week, I blame it on the bossa nova. She did perform it live. Yes, she did, at Newport and many different other venues. Meanwhile, back with the Deadpool report, another one that I know nobody had on their card, and this took everybody by surprise. On Sunday, George Winston. If you don't know the name, you've heard his music. One of the real pioneers, and one of the guys that I guess you could say kind of, if he wasn't at the forefront, he at least brought new age music to the fore. He was a solo piano player. He sold over 15 million albums. He passed away Sunday at the age of 73. His website confirmed this. He'd been battling cancer, apparently, for about 10 years, undergoing a bone marrow transplant in 2013. He's the guy that, like I said, during the original days of Windham Hill Records, when they first started out, and the music that he played, in the early 80s, this one, Winter into Spring, December, all of these went platinum in the U.S. December went 3 times platinum, as a matter of fact, according to Rolling Stone. And it was just, it wasn't classical, it wasn't jazz, it wasn't ambient. It was just this really, really nice, easy kind of piano playing that somehow incorporated the phrase New Age. And he was at the forefront of that. He personally always called it folk piano or rural folk piano, which is kind of fun. After all this, he made those albums, and then he partnered with Meryl Streep for a special album, The Velveteen Rabbit. His piano accompanies Meryl's recitation of the children's classic story of the same name, and it's really quite charming when you hear it. So he also did another almost kind of like a soundtrack in 1988. This is America, Charlie Brown. It was like an 8-part miniseries with the Peanuts characters. And he also won a Grammy in 1994. He won for Best New Age Album for Forest, his album Forest. So he made a lot of music, but he also promoted a lot of charitable causes. He released albums that, benefited cancer research, victims of 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, and he wrote and recorded right up to his final album in May of last year, an album called Night. And he interpreted songs by Alan Toussaint, Leonard Cohen, Laura Nyro. Just an amazing artist. And again, one of the pioneers that's gone, George Winston, unfortunately gone at the age of 73. I've got other people chiming in. Yeah. So we'll get to those in a minute. So if that's not enough for you, Death fans, let's talk about the death of Pat Cooper, one of the great comedic minds of the Borscht Belt. He was right up there along the same time as people like Don Rickles and Myron Cohen. Pardon me. He was one of those guys, he got really mad and he insulted you. He was one of the original insult comics. He has passed away as of Tuesday night, I beg your pardon, at the age of 93. He died in his home peacefully in Las Vegas. His wife, Emily, announced. He was one of those guys, he was up there in the Poconos. He was doing the Borscht Belt, Atlantic City, Vegas. He opened for the great Ginger Rogers. And he also opened once for Frank down there at the Sands Hotel. But the story goes that he refused to take out a joke about an upside-down St. Anthony statue. Sinatra wanted it out. Pat said no, and they never worked together again. He also appeared as himself on an episode of Seinfeld in 1996, or 1996 rather, according to the Hollywood Reporter. And he participated in all the roasts, the Dean Martin roasts and the Friars roast and everything like that. He played Salvatore Misello. Remember the movie Analyze This in 1999? Yeah, and then he did the follow-up in 2002, Analyze That. But refused to appear in Martin Scorsese's Casino. He said he was a named performer who deserved 3 lines of dialogue. Wow. Oh, I'm a big star. You understand? A big star. He wrote he never appeared again. So he wrote a book in 2011. It's called How Dare You Say How Dare Me, an autobiography of a life in comedy. And Pat wrote that he never appeared again on The Tonight Show after a drunken Johnny Carson accidentally urinated on him in the bathroom of a New York nightclub in the 1970s. And that's related in a chapter called, of course, say it all together, I'd rather be pissed off than pissed on. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm a semi-name, he told the Observer. I'm not a Rodney Dangerfield. I'm not a Bob Hope. I'm a consistent performer. I'm packing rooms, but I'm happier than Rodney will ever be. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. He frequently complained that dinner companions like Jerry Vale, Joe DiMaggio, Rocky Marciano, and Mickey Mantle, because he couldn't find any friends, never picked up a check. Used to annoy me. I used to think I got to turn around and buy your food. You guys are millionaires. You guys are bigger stars. They'd come to the Copa. They'd never pay. You can hear him doing it, which is really funny. So yeah, 3 children, 3 wives, his sisters, and they're asking that donations in his name be made to the Shriners Hospital for Children or Neon Museum in Las Vegas. So there you have it. One of the greats, Pat Cooper. I know he wasn't on your card. Gone at the age of 93. And finally, for all of you fans of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever the hell they're calling it this week, according to WLS TV Chicago, ABC 7 News in Chicago, the Iron Sheik is gone. The great Iron Sheik. He shot to global fame in the WWF, now the WWE, or was it the WWF? The world may never know. He had the great 80s rivalries with the likes of the great Hulk Hogan brother. He has died as of Wednesday at the age of 81, according to ABC 7 in Chicago. His real name was Hossein Khusro Ali Vaziri, and he was the former heavyweight world champion for WWF. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. He was a heel. He was one of the best heels. He was one of the original, really, you gotta hate this guy, bad guy heels. And some of the feuds that he had, of course, Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, Sergeant Slaughter, Macho Man, Randy Savage. He beat Backlund for the WWF title in December of 83, which I did not know. And it was Hogan that defeated the Sheik at Madison Square Garden to win the belt for the first time. And that, of course, brought Hulkamania to the fore, brothers. What are you going to do, these 24-inch pythons? So, yeah, he was an amazing human being. He started off, believe it or not, as a bodyguard for the last Shah of Iran. I guess if you're gonna get experience, you might as well, do it right. He was a Greco-Roman wrestler in his home company. He made the 1968 Olympic team, then moved to the U.S. where he won an AAU Greco-Roman Wrestling Championship and became assistant coach for the U.S. wrestling team, including its Olympic team in 1972. So yeah, he was doing that, and then Vern Gagne, the late great Vern Gagne, got him into the AWA in the Midwest. And the rest, as they say, is history. After Vince McMahon found him and had him join the WWF, and he was fighting people like Bruno Sammartino, Chief Jay Strongbow. He dropped the title to Hogan in '84, and he had a great bunch of matches with Sergeant Slaughter. If you remember any of that, if you don't, get on Peacock, because these are some of the greatest matches, and some of the matches that really made professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever the hell they're calling it this week, to the fore. So yeah, he was really funny though. He also would tweet every day, and he would just come out and just Hulk Hogan, I'll kick your ass, right up to the end. He was absolutely funny. So yeah, he's survived by his wife Carol. They were married for 47 years. His children Tanya, Nikki, son-in-law Eddie, and his daughter Marissa, who unfortunately passed away in 2003. So yeah, one of the greats in pro wrestling, the Iron Sheik, gone at the age of 81. I told you it was a long week, you guys. I told you. Oh, man. Do we need any more? No. Let's get out of here. That's this week's Deadpool, y'all. checking the tote board real fast. Chris is also saying, Noreen Henry. Noreen has popped in to say hello. Hello, Noreen. Always good to see you. Always appreciate it. And Chris is saying, yeah, I you know how I feel about talking politics on this show. But yes, you're right. Yes, I'll bring it up since everybody else is bringing it up. Yes, Pat Robertson died. But I look at it this way. If you want to talk politics, how ironic is it that Pat Robertson died during Pride Month? Just saying. He wasn't a politician. He was a televangelist. He was a televangelist, I know, and he started the 700 Club. But, dude, he ran for president, and he would campaign for all kinds of conservative candidates. And this was the guy that came out and tried to convince people that... And I saw this interview. In fact, I was just watching it again last night. He got on his show, the 700 Club, and tried to convince people that gay men had a ring that they would wear. And this ring had a sharp edge, had a sharp spike on one side of it, on the palm side of it. And if they didn't like you, they would shake hands with you. And they would like try to scratch you. And then by doing that, they would give you AIDS. And that's how AIDS was spreading. You know, just some of the most ridiculous theories. Some of the, and so yeah, like I said, the fact that he died during Pride Week, I find absolutely fantastic. I really do. And even Chris is saying, I wonder if he's surprised being in hell. I'm sure he is. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other people that are down there to join him and really want to kick his ass. So, yeah. So, yes. Okay, we had, accepted it. But, yeah, he was a televangelist, but... Again, he tried to run for president twice, I think, in 88 and in 92, if I'm not mistaken. He tried to run both times. I think he was on the same ticket with Bush and not GH and Clinton. I think during those times. But I could be wrong. Memory's a little fuzzy. I'm just bringing it up, says Chris, because of the joy I feel now that he's gone. You're not alone, my man. You're not alone. Believe me. I heard that, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway. So, yeah, a lot of things, going on. Schadenfreude is wonderful. In it, though, karma is a bitch. Just saying. There is some good news. If you have been following, anything in the world of radio and or show business in general, you will know that there's things that are not going very well for Danny Bonaducci. He apparently, a couple of weeks ago, on his Instagram page, now I know, and even a lot of people I know, first off, are saying, well, whatever happened to Danny Bonaducci? Well, Danny looks a lot like this these days. Because let's face it, after the Partridge Family, Danny had a really hard road. But he landed on his feet, and he did okay. He's got a very successful career in radio. In fact, many of us here in the great city of Chicago remember his days working for the Loop, the late, great Loop AM 1000. Dig that! Dig that! If you're from Chicago, you'll understand that. But some good news for Danny fans, and that is the fact that, Well, a couple of weeks ago, he wrote on Instagram a bit of news to share. This is a quote from TMZ, by the way. A bit of news to share. I'm taking temporary medical leave from my radio show. He does have a morning radio show in Seattle. I'll share more when I know more, as I'm still working towards receiving a diagnosis. What I do know is I need some time to focus on my health right now. I love my job and talking to you guys, and I'll be back on the air very soon. Charlie Chaplin, Willy Wonka, Danny Bonaducci. I've joined the club of cool guys with canes. Apparently, he found out that he was recently diagnosed with hydrocephalus, which is a neurological disorder caused by a liquid buildup in his brain. Whoa. So he went under the knife. He went under the knife a couple of days ago. And according to TMZ, the prognosis is really good. It went off without a hitch. And now he's going to start that road to recovery. Paul Anderson, Danny's longtime pal and agent, told TMZ that the actor was under the knife for 2 hours on Monday. But everything went really well, and everybody's super optimistic about his recovery. And they're told that he's expected to be released from the hospital in the next, in the next couple of days. But he is going to be doing a lot of resting after that. About 3 or 4 weeks. And once he feels well, Paul says everyone expects Danny to be right back at it, tackling his morning radio show and joking that the surgery won't affect his quick wit or sense of humor. The surgery's goal was to help Danny maintain his balance and getting around every day, which apparently his affliction was bothering him about. By the way, speaking of Danny, take that. One day we'll even tell the story of Danny Bonaducci's tattoo. But Danny is also selling his house. If you're in the mood for moving, and if you want to head up to the great Northwest, you can buy Danny Bonaducci's house. It's been hard for him to move, according to TMZ, and the pad just has too many stairs and rooms to get around safely, so now he has it on the market for a mere $1.6 million. Yes, that's right. You can buy Danny Bonaducci's house for $1.5 million. Take that. Best wishes to Danny. Best wishes to Danny. Never met him. Always wanted to. Tried to. Got on his show a couple times. That was about it. It was just a phone call thing. It was nothing really big. And you said, is saying, is it just me, or does Danny look a little like William H. Macy, a.k.a. Frank from Shameless, in that first photo? Now, is that the first photo of what he looks like today? Are you talking about this picture? If that's the case, I'd have to say yes. I would totally have to say yes. Either way, yeah, that's the one. Okay. But yeah, you have to admit, and I mean, Danny Bonaducci's life is the stuff of legend, okay? We all know about it. But to go from this to this, yeah. Let's just say the years have not been kind to Daniel. And Danny, if you ever watch this, it's all in jest, pal. It's all in jest. But you know what I'm saying is the truth. This is the guy that went to jail for beating up a transvestite. Okay? True story. Look it up. Yeah. And speaking of people with charmed lives, let's give it up. And I thought this was very appropriate that this happened during this week. let's talk about Kathy Griffin. I know, neither do I. But apparently poor Kathy has had a string of bad luck lately. Because according to page 6, she had a little bit of a cancer scare last year. And she's in remission now. She's cancer-free, which is always a good thing. But apparently, she's still in remission, but she continuously goes in for scans, for cancer scans. And one of them took place on Easter of this year. And what she did was kind of weird. She got on TikTok. And during one of the scans of her vocal cords, she actually broadcast the scan of her vocal cords before undergoing surgery to save them. Now, I'm not going to show these pictures because this is YouTube. And if you show anything that isn't, smiling puppy dogs or whatever the case may be, you know how it is. I could always go over to Twitch, but then I'd never make any money. But that's another story altogether. So she had an appointment, according to page 6, and she put it on TikTok. Her surgeon stuck a camera scope up her nose to look at her vocal cords. If you ask me, that's kind of in the wrong direction. But, hey, that's just me. First step is the numbing spray. Then the scope goes up the nose, down into the vocal cords. And I guess it was a little bit harder than, a little bit more serious than they thought, because the left vocal cord it showed was paralyzed. So the doctor, of course, told her to make noises, which depending upon your taste in comedy is all Kathy does. And one picture, she described her vocal cord as a, quote, mini vagina. Oh, that wacky, sitting on the edge of comedy Kathy Griffin, I tell you what. She then skipped forward to lying in a recovery bed after the surgery, which she said she had to undergo in order to be ready for her Las Vegas show this summer. Apparently she has a residency, which is cool. This is just part of my recovery post-lung cancer surgery, she shared. I'm cancer-free, so anyway, a little scratchy, but I'll be in good shape. She had part of her lung removed. This I did not know. She had part of her lung removed in 2021 because she was diagnosed with lung cancer. And then 4 months after that, she said she was in complete remission. She was cancer-free, which is very cool. But she still goes in for scans, which is the smart thing to do. But then later, and I remember this because I kind of went, yeah, what's up with that? She was diagnosed with complex PTSD. She began a video once that said, let's talk about PTSD, never talked about it publicly. You can laugh or whatever, but I've been diagnosed with complex PTSD, and it's called an extreme case. Her issues began about 5.5 years ago, she said, about the same time she posed for she posed for a picture, and this is where we tie in everything that happened this week. It was a very famous picture of Kathy, and yeah, if you're down with current events, you might remember this picture. Yep, good old Kath. Good old Kathy. It was a joke. It was political satire. And then Orangeade went to get her. And the artistic decision cost her everything in her career. CNN fired her from co-hosting duties of their annual New Year's Eve special. She lost out on all kinds of comedy gigs. She also said that her cancer diagnosis didn't help with her mental health. And she turned to her friend and musician Sia for advice about therapies in addition to prescription medicine. And she recommended a really good doctor, according to Kathy. So yeah, that's what's going on with Kathy these days. Kathy Griffin, kind of having a hard few years, but again, we wish her well. We wish you well, Kath. Hope that you're okay. You'll be back to spewing all kinds of comedy, which, as we all know, is extremely subjective, rather. Of course, in your case, it is suggestive. You know what I'm talking about. Amu City is saying, you scared me. I thought you were going to say she posed for that one Hefner magazine. No. No, please. Please. We just got over Martha Stewart in Sports Illustrated. We don't need that, okay? 2 of those in the same year? Nah, bro. No. Not happening. But at any rate, moving on. Not a lot in music news this week. Although there is some good news for the metalheads. Oh. And that news is that, and it has been confirmed to Planet Rock, that there's going to be a new album coming out very soon from, that is to say, Judas Priest. Yeah. The godfathers of metal. The metal boys are going to be making a new album. According to Blabbermouth, Richie Faulkner confirmed that Rob Halford had yet to complete the vocals, but he's now told My Planet Rock's host Ian Danter that the singer has laid down his parts and the album is set to move on to the mixing and mastering stage. Which is good news. I mean, I like Priest. I really do. British Steel, to me, is still one of the better metal albums of all time. It really is. And really, pardon me, defined a genre. But, listen, I love Priest. I think it's a great idea. I'm glad they're making a new album. Richie's saying, I think we finished tracking. We've got to mix it. We've got to master it. We've got to manufacture the thing. It has got to physically be made, but everything's been recorded. And I openly admit, I'm getting up there in years. But when you take a look at Rob Halford, okay, Rob, like most of us, has seen better days. Okay? Let's just admit it. But he says it's sounding fantastic, sounding great. Obviously, I'm going to say that, but if it doesn't sound great, we wouldn't be bothering. You've got to do something that we think is better than the last one, which, of course, was 2018's Firepower. So this is their first album in 5 years. Tell me this isn't a good thing. And if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be Priest. Priests don't need to do that. So, yeah. I say it's a good thing. I love Priest. Again, British Steel. Truly one of the great metal albums. As a matter of fact, back in February, Rob Halford was on Ozzy's Boneyard, the Sirius XM radio show. And he was talking about it, and then he said, and this is a quote again from Blabbermouth, "That's what we love about Priest, isn't it? I've always said we were a band that could kind of rip the skin off your face with Painkiller." Yeah. Then the next second we can be your turbo lover, and we can go and break the law, and then we can become the Sentinel. Yeah, okay. Nothing like living on past glories, Rob. We've had so much fun and adventure with not only the albums, but the songs within the albums. It's part of who we are, and making these little microcosms of our personality within the songs especially. All those names that I've referenced they've got a little bit of a mini movie going on in your head when you think of the lyrics and the message, and it's all supported by incredible music working together. Can't argue that. Cannot argue that at all. So look for that. No word on a release date, obviously, because they're still in the studio working on it. But yeah, new music from Judas Priest. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. You know? Still waiting for Ozzy's new album. He's supposed to be doing a follow-up to Patient Number 9. And which was a great album, by the way. I thought Patient 9 was a terrific album. Checking the tote board here. Chris is talking about Amu City's reference to Kathy Griffin possibly posing in Playboy, which no, stop it, no. And I mentioned that Martha Stewart was the cover girl for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. And Chris said Martha could get it. She's got that fresh off the yard prison workout bod. to which she made a lovely cozy for. I love this song, Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You Tonight. Yeah. Mm. Breaking the Law was okay. Sheffield Steel was okay. You know, Living After Midnight. You know, what do you say about Priest? It's Priest. You know? Somebody asked me the other day, you know, "Hey man, what's your favorite Metallica song?" Thinking I was going to mention something off the Black Album. I just looked at him and I went, "One." From And Justice for All. That's my all-time favorite Metallica song. The guy looked at me like I had a hole in my forehead. You know. How come you didn't say Enter Sandman? Because that song sucks. I like One. Tonight I'm going to rock you tonight. Yeah. So, anyway. One of the things that I have not mentioned that I do need to mention again is the fact that I'm doing double duty again tonight. And the way that I'm doing double duty is if you would, first off, please, everybody, as soon as we get done here, let's all run over quick like a bunny to hugs@wrgg.com, hugsatwrgg.com, where Cyrus Gray will be doing this week's Top 10 Countdown, immediately followed by your favorite local DJ. That's right, the old fat guy himself, Tim Gainer, will be doing the Hug Shockwave. All new submissions from all new bands vying to get on to the Hugs Top 200. It's some terrific music from some of today's best unsigned independent artists. Please join us for that. That starts right after the Hugs Top 10 Countdown. The Shockwave will be on at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Yeah. No, the Top 10 Countdown is 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, and that's followed by the Shockwave immediately following that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so hold on. Chris is making an announcement here. Due to upcoming life changes for our host, Tonight will be my last participatory contribution to the show. Thanks for letting me be part of it. Love you guys. It's been a hell of a run from the Gainer Lee podcast to this amalgam of Flotsam every Friday. I had a blast. I ain't going no place for a while, pal. You know, you feel free to stick around, because I ain't going no place for a while. So don't you worry about a thing there. There are things that are happening. I cannot get into them right now, but I will at a later date, by all means. So yeah, I mean, no reason to run out on my account. I mean, really. Little sister Judy from the CO. Yeah, popping in to say hi. Hi from Florida. Okay, so the FL, never mind. Anyway, one last thing before we get out of here. It is summertime. It is summertime. Time for people to head out into the great outdoors and discover some of the things that they love. And according to our friends here at WXLP FM in the Quad Cities, Iowa, or as they're known around town, 97X, the classic rock authority, with Dyer and Michaels in the morning. 97X, the classic rock authority. According to them, anybody who's ever been to a car show knows that they can be a lot of fun. You know, you head out there and you can see, you know, old muscle cars, custom cars, people that put together from kits, things of that nature. But this one's a little different. Because coming up in August, in the bustling little burb of Cambridge, Wisconsin, is going to be the Valley View Recreational Club's nude car show. Hold on, work with me here. Oh, hold on to your knickers there, Marge. Because I can't make this stuff up. I wish I could. But I cannot make this stuff up. The dates of the Valley View Recreation Club's annual nude car show have been announced, and boy, aren't you glad they are. Cambridge, Wisconsin, and I know you. I can hear you saying right now, Gainer, where in the world is Cambridge, Wisconsin? Well, sure. If you take a look at the map right here, you'll see that it's about 20 miles east of Madison, about 60 miles west of Milwaukee, and has a population of just a little over 1,600 people. Yes, you am glad, says Noreen. Yes, I am. The event, in case you care, is going to be Thursday, August 10th through Sunday, August the 13th. Is a 4-day event hosted by the Valley View Recreational Club. There will be live music, great food, and raffles. For example, oh man, I don't want to. I really got to pre-read my material. On Thursday, there's karaoke by Teeny Tiny, Tine, from 7 to 1, from 7 to 11. Friday, there's lunch, dinner at the clubhouse, and entertainment, but that hasn't been revealed yet. That's one of the big surprises out there in Cambridge, Wisconsin. Who will the special guest band be for the nude car show? Saturday, of course, there's breakfast, lunch, dinner, raffles, and more entertainment. Again, TBA. And then Sunday, you actually get breakfast, lunch, dinner, raffles, a 50-50 drawing. And, oh yeah, by the way, did we mention that there's going to be cars there? Yeah, there's going to be, you can vote for, your favorite car. Pardon me. And then 12:30, of course, is the parade of cars. Yeah. Valley View Recreation Club, where you can be yourself just as nature intended. The campground, by the way, in case you're interested, and I can tell you are, I can see in your eyes. It's open from May to September, offers several outdoor nude events, such as the women's 3-on-3 volleyball tournament, the co-ed naked volleyball tournament. Apparently people are really big on volleyball in Cambridge, Wisconsin. Of course, there's also National Skinny Dip Day. Go figure. And Wisconsin's Naked Mile and Body Painting Festival. So there you have it. Something for you to do in August. The Nude Car Show in Cambridge, Wisconsin. Population 1,600 people. Little Sister Judy says this is a way for the neighbors to have a free peep show. Only if they pay the admission, I would think. You would think that there'd be a fence around there. MU City is saying, overheard at Valley View. Whoa, look at the headlights on that one. Don't get me started. Oh, man, don't get me started. Oh. Judy says that the entertainment will be the talking heads. As in talking, well, you see it for yourself. Why am I walking myself into this one? Oh, man, I have got to pre-read the material before I go on the air. So, yeah, if your idea of a good time is to get in your birthday suit and check out the muscle cars. See, anything that you say related to it's like, well, whose line is it anyway? Things you can say at a nudist camp that you can say at a car show. How much lube do you use for those chassis? Judy's saying, yeah. Why don't we do it in the road? Has a new meeting. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Even Chris saying in Disney's Cars, after the first race when Lightning McQueen was going down victory lane, there were some cars flashing their headlights at him. Didn't realize the innuendo until much later. Of course you didn't. Anyway, that's going to do it from here. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, the Top 10 Countdown with Cyrus Gray, hugs at WRGG.com, HUGSATWRGG.com. Please check it out. That's followed by the Shockwave with Mwah. So we hope to see you there. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Hey, you can like, you can subscribe, you can tell your friends. Maybe we can get, 10 viewers. Who knows? But anyway, that's going to do it. Thank you so much. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Like, subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. We out, plug.
Bye.